final episode of season 1 of Obi-Wan has just dropped. And I think we all have a lot of opinions about that. So I think we're just going to hop right into that. And so what did you guys think about, I guess let's just start with like this most recent episode, the finale, and then we'll kind of like move on and kind of talk about the series as a whole, because it was only 6 episodes, but you know, we'll start off with the week and then kind of just give your general thoughts.
Yeah, I think on like first note, like it's sad that Raj and Anders can't be here, because they're definitely like, especially Raj is like a Star Wars nut. Like he's watched everything like Rebels and stuff, so it's sad that he can't be here for this. But what did I think? Episode 6, the finale was spoilers, by the way, for Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
as we get into it,
yeah.
Obviously. But episode 6 was everything I wanted it to be. Like, I felt like they kind of lost themselves a little bit in episode 4 to 5. The series lost a little bit of ground with me, and then I felt like episode 6 like picked it up exactly. Like I wanted to see Obi-Wan and Vader fight. Like it would have been very disappointing if they didn't fight. But I like the way it ended. I think they segued things nicely. And I think ultimately the show was about the tragic arc of Obi-Wan, like having to pretty much, he thinks he killed his trainee because he went to the dark side. It's like the tragedy of him. And that's what they focus on throughout the whole show, but really in that like last episode. But then you kind of see how like Luke and Leia kind of like keep him afloat, and he doesn't go back into hiding quite as much. So I thought it wrapped up the story really nicely, and I really enjoyed it. I was like, I think with a lot of the MCU shows coming out, I kind of was like expecting a little bit of a letdown finale, because that's what we've been getting a lot of.
Yep.
And then I didn't get let down, and I was kind of like, wait, this is pretty typical. Like the Mandalorian finales are the best episodes of the season, and I don't remember the Book of Boba Fett finale, but I also believe that was good. So now I'm like, actually, Star Wars does a pretty good finale in terms of their TV shows.
It's almost like a flip for the difference between Star Wars and Marvel. Yeah,
like the continuity sometimes during the Star Wars, like, I don't know if that actually happened in the like movies timeline, but I don't know. I really enjoyed episode 6. I thought it was great. What about you guys?
Jacob, do you want to hit it?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty good. I'm not going to give as in-depth of like reasoning for you as you just did, but I did enjoy it, and like just from a base level of watching, it was like I thought it was good, but also enjoyable. And afterwards, I went on like social media, like Instagram and TikTok, and I was seeing like different like things that could have been like intentional, which possibly likely could be, but like details that I had like picked up when I was watching it, like a different person like cuts off like a different part of like Vader's face mask and was like representing this person, which was cool.
It's so good, yeah.
Like that's I think that's just something I was seeing and I was like, wow, that's actually like really cool. Not a detail I would have picked up on the first time. So I thought it was very good. I wish Marvel could also just take some of the DC things, because I would just make things so much easier. But yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
I mean, I really liked the way it was wrapped up. I thought, because like you, Justin, it was kind of episodes 4 and 5. It was kind of like a lull. I was like, I don't really know where they're going with the series, because it kind of seemed like Obi-Wan kept kind of just like getting beat up and like losing all the time. And it's like, well, like, isn't he supposed to be the Jedi Master still?
Yeah.
Like, he's supposed to still be that guy by the time that episode 4 rolls around, where he's kind of this older, wiser guy. But it was like, I almost lost it. And then it was like that end scene with Vader where he pulls the shit down. It's like, okay, they know that people still love Vader. I think they're going to be good for episode 6. And then obviously it was a great fight scene between him and Obi-Wan. And then I think even the way that they handled Leia, where like everybody kind of like was like a little wishy-washy with her at the beginning, where it's like, oh, she's annoying, whatever. But I feel like everybody kind of has come around on her, because like it makes sense. It's like, yeah, she's an entitled brat at first.
Yeah.
Like watch the show. Like she has a character arc. I think it's the same thing with the Inquisitor, Riva,
yeah.
Where it's like immediately everybody's like, I don't like her, she's too aggressive. It's like, yeah, she's a bad guy. That's the point. She's supposed to be evil. But then by the end of it, it kind of gives her this whole arc where it's like, she's only seeking revenge. But then she realizes that's not what she wants. It's like she just wants peace. And it's like, that's the point, guys. Just wait till the series is over. And I think that they did a very, very good job at like actually tying all those loose ends together. So that was a very satisfying ending, but they still have some room to like kind of expand on. Because they did just kind of have Qui-Gon kind of showed up right at the end. But I actually kind of did like how they handled that, how they weren't just like shoehorning him in and just like, okay, now Qui-Gon, and it's going to be this whole other angle. It's kind of right at the end. It's like hinting at a little bit more. It's like where he could just kind of like learn to be a true, like, I guess more in touch with the Force, I think, would probably be where they would head with that. So I really like that.
Is there any reason?
Yeah, and I think. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Is there any reason why Qui-Gon gets as much hype as he does? I feel like he's constantly hyped up.
I don't know.
I think it's just because like, in terms of the timeline, not per se like when the movies were released, he's like the first Jedi we really get to know. Like he's trained, like Obi-Wan is training our main character Anakin, and Obi-Wan's master is Qui-Gon. So it's like he's kind of like the top of the chain in terms of like the Jedi were really, because we don't really know much about Yoda, even though he's like a very notable figure in the Star Wars community. But like Qui-Gon feels like the first, like the oldest Jedi you get to like know a little bit, but he's also the first one that dies.
And also with that is like Qui-Gon was like, he was different than a lot of other Jedi where like he wasn't like very strict with like the rules of the Jedi. Essentially, he was much more about like trying to like actually raise Anakin and make him like a good person versus just training him to be a Jedi. So I think that's why people kind of attach to him a lot, because he was less of like that very strict Jedi that I think a lot of people kind of critique and like kind of see how it's like, yeah, like a lot of the rules of the Jedi had were very stupid. It didn't make any sense whatsoever. And he was one of the ones kind of critiquing that, especially towards the end of episode 1. So I think that's where people are like, oh, they kind of latch on to him as like, he's like what a Jedi should represent. And then it's like when he dies, it's like, it's kind of just this whole mess of bureaucracy and like religion mixing with politics, and it's like it turns into a mess basically once he dies. So then people are like, the guy is back.
I think moving on to some thoughts about the whole season. I mean, I've heard tons of different things on social media. Like some people really dig it, some people don't really like it. A lot of people talking about like specific characters like Leia and like Reva, and I have some thoughts. Okay, Reva totally is overacted, and it's not, I don't think it's the actress's fault at all. I think it is a writing thing, and they want her to be like 100%. Very overly aggressive, but it's like, her whole ploy is that she's like on the inside trying to like eventually kill Vader.
So she has to play it up.
By being a maniac, I think she definitely like is not achieving out in some ways. I think like she's little over the top, but again, like some people have been like shaming the actress. I don't think it's an actress problem. I think it's a writing problem. So like over the top at times, but her arc is interesting. I think it would have fit well as a TV show, like where you just see her like, it starts with a very similar scene. You kind of see her like rise up through the ranks of the Sith and then get to this position of power. But I still think it's fascinating, like when you learn about like how she's on the inside, but her logic also doesn't make sense.
No,
she just wants revenge, like you said. She just like, why is she going to kill Luke? I don't know.
That was the one thing I was like why is she killing his kid? Like, he has nothing to do with this.
Vader doesn't even know about him. Like, Vader doesn't even know he's born.
Dude, absolutely.
He died in childbirth.
That was the one thing at the end of the episode. I'm like, why is she doing this?
Yeah.
Where it's like, because she knows that Anakin is a Vader, but no one knows that Anakin has kids. So she learns that Anakin has kids and goes to murder this kid. And it's like,
for what reason? Like, you think if Anakin knew, he would go get the kids?
Exactly. Like, you think he would care about Obi-Wan? No, he would go get his kid. Are you kidding me? Oh my god!
So that it cracks me up a little bit, but like, so I think Reva's definitely like a weak point in the series. But I get, people have been giving a lot of stuff to Leia. Like, first of all, people have been talking about how, like, the actress isn't good.
She's for a child, 10.
She's so young, and I thought she did a good job. And number 2, okay, was she maybe a little bit smarter than you would probably expect for someone at that age? Sure. But her dad is Anakin Skywalker, like the greatest Jedi, like in terms of strength-wise, we've like really ever seen.
She
and
is supposed to be like using the Force too.
Yes.
Like,
and her mom was like Senator Amidala, and then she's raised by a bunch of other senators, and she's a princess, and she's super rich. I was like, it makes sense why she's super annoying, entitled, and like smart. I was like, she's got everything, like, and she got the Force.
Yeah, exactly.
So she's Force sensitive. So I was like, I was just like, I hated seeing her get to talk. I was like, is she annoying sometimes? Absolutely, but all kids are annoying.
That's
like,
that's the point, everybody.
That's the point, and that's part of the charm.
Exactly.
So,
it's like she starts off as an annoying brat, and then it's like, through this experience, she becomes less annoying.
And I think Owen's character and Obi-Wan's characters were great. Like, you see Owen, he's got this undeniable love for Luke, but he's also kind of like pissed. He's like, hey, like, this kid is in danger, and you're kind of just like having me raise him. Like, he's not associating with you. Like, I don't want him to just do that. So I really enjoyed that part. In terms of the finale, they gave a lot of fan service, but it didn't always feel fan servicey. Like, they did a little thing with the rocks. Obi-Wan has a complete callback to when Rey lifted all those rocks at the end of that cave. At the end of The Last Jedi. So I thought that was cool. And then just like the little lines of like, Obi-Wan says again, I will do what I must.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which becomes like his,
and then goes into the full like Clone Wars-esque stance. It's like, why are you doing this?
Also, I don't really know why those rocks didn't hurt Vader as much. It kind of like seems to crumble
They
right
were
as soon as
huge.
Vader, come on.
And I know he had body art. He had some like kind of
he like
armor on.
throws up his arm, and this thing just shatters across him, and it's like, did that even hurt him like at all? And he just like keeps chucking these things, and Vader's like, I can't feel any of this. I'm a robot. It's like
he just kind of like, and they just kept like shattering off the arm. Like, no, you would fall.
But Vader is that guy, so it did absolutely nothing.
I actually got one question.
Yeah.
Why is it that like you can now like in Star Wars you can get stabbed with a lightsaber, but like you can still survive that? And like the movies that we had watched previously, if you got stabbed like in any sort of way, like with a lightsaber, you would die. And now like it seems like everybody's tanking that.
I think it's about placement. I think that's the whole idea. Is like usually in like the scenes where we see it's like it's usually kind of like a hack slash sort of thing. Versus I will.
Come
on. Look, Rise of Skywalker. There's absolutely no excuse. But I will argue in this with Vader, especially because he is Vader. He could probably place it in a spot that's like a like you could probably put it on like the outside of like your hip or something right there, where there's nothing there. That's actually where I think he does actually stab her. I don't remember which side it's on, but like I'd argue that he could probably put it in like a non-lethal spot, but. It is kind of getting to be a trend now where people are just getting stabbed and then not dying.
What I will say on a technical term, a lightsaber is so hot that it would cauterize all bleeding.
Yes.
Like you would not bleed. So like if they didn't hit any vital organs, you're not gonna bleed, and you're just gonna probably walk around with a hole in your gut. So
exactly.
But I think it's weird. Like, again, she was like chasing Luke after being stabbed by a lightsaber. It was like, ooh, I think your abdominal muscles would at least be like sore.
Also, like, how long of a time span was it between
not
her
that
getting
long.
stabbed and then her getting detached? Like, I feel like it's like you have to like crawl like to get to your ship, get out of it, then like find where they are. It's like, how are you not passed out by this point? like that's insane.
It's either a tank or just lightsabers have been getting nerfed. Like, there's no in between.
No, I think overall the season was very good. I dug episode 1 and 2 a lot. Don't really remember 3. Episode 4 and 5 were like meh, but I was interested and engaged, and I think episode 6 was really good. So I enjoyed it as a whole. I think it's better than Book of Boba Fett. It might be better I think it might be better than season 2 of Mandalorian. It's not better than season 1 of Mandalorian.
No.
But I think I might put it as a second favorite Star Wars show and season at this point. I just dug it. I think at the core of it, it's an Obi-Wan. It's called Obi-Wan. And I think at the core of it, it talks about his like relationship and his feelings about like living in this post like Order 66 world and what the state of the Jedi are and how he's like damaged from it. And I think it explores that really well. And you kind of see by the end, he like changed a lot from it, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I think one thing that I do want to touch on that I thought they did really well is like, they did a good job at showing that Obi-Wan like had a lot of trauma from all of his experiences, but then he was like still a strong character with that, where like he didn't he basically had a panic attack the first time that he learned that Vader even existed. Like that was that like showed a lot, where it's like that carried a lot of weight. but then it's like it's showing where it's like, okay, but he's not letting that like control him, but he's still dealing with all of this stuff. It's like he doesn't just like brush aside the fact that it's like, oh yeah, you know, my Padawan that I had trained for like 10 years that I had to murder because he destroyed the entire galaxy. Yeah, he's back, and now he's a cyborg that's murdering everybody again,
and wants to kill me,
and wants to kill me very dead. And instead of him just being like, whatever, all right, we ball, let's go. He's like actually has like a real emotional response to that, which I thought they did a really good job with.
Yeah. I mean,
I do think the big weakness of the show is there's a lot of like things in it where you're like, I'm not sure that would play out that way, or that's a little bit ridiculous. Like we talked about, like Reva getting stabbed, and you're like, she probably wouldn't be able to walk over there. Or like I would be shocked. I forget what her name is, but like the girl who was like the undercover the Empire agent walking through the whole entire facility.
Yeah, literally didn't have to scan a thing.
It's like, and it's like no that way. Wouldn't happen. But ultimately, like those are like minor inconveniences. Like that's what I point to when I'm picking hairs between like what's my 4th and 5th favorite Marvel movie and or whatnot. Not like if I enjoyed the season as a whole. Like I can deal with like plot. I can deal with some like
it's Star Wars. It's going to be cheesy, like whatever.
Yeah,
like, there's some of those.
And I know Raj would be up here talking a little bit more about continuity. I have not finished all of Clone Wars, and I have not watched Rebels, so I don't know anything about that kind of continuity. As someone who's watched and like likes all of like to a certain extent, likes all of like the Star Wars movies that have been produced, it fits into continuity perfectly fine. I think if you hyper analyze Clone Wars and Rebels, there might be some like, ooh, that shouldn't have happened during this time, or like the Inquisitors weren't around at this time or whatnot. But like, I think if you're looking at it from like, I'm just following all the live action stuff, it works perfectly fine. I never like questioned it. The only thing I questioned was that Obi-Wan was supposed to be like in isolation, not doing anything. But I think they finished that really quickly. They were like, okay, for 10 days, he had to go save Leia and came back, and now he's going to go back in hiding.
Yeah.
I would love a season 2.
I don't know what they would do with it, but
I don't know either.
Love a season 2,
because I feel like him going off with Qui-Gon, because he was studying with Qui-Gon during this gap of time. That's why he was able to become a Force Ghost. Which I'm still confused how Anakin became a Force Ghost, because there's no way he trained to do that.
It's Anakin,
but whatever. I was thinking.
Ignore that detail.
Because he shows up, and I was thinking the other day, I was like, oh, yeah, well, Obi-Wan's gonna like learn how to become a Force Ghost, like he's gonna be training with Qui-Gon during this time before A New Hope. And then I was like, wait, there's no way Anakin was just like in his meditation chamber, or Darth Vader like, I am training to become a Force Ghost when I eventually die, so I can support my son that I don't know about.
Exactly. Or it's like in like the 30 seconds that he like takes off his helmet and he's like actually Anakin again before he dies on the Death Star. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, I know how to be a Force Ghost. Okay, bye.
I'll be back.
Don't worry about it.
I can't forget about. Just going back to the episode, I loved when you could kind of hear Anakin's voice with when
Hayden
the helmet was
Christensen
cut off.
breaking through like in and out of like James Earl Jones and him. Oh, that was so good.
Because I was like, that's Anakin.
Yeah.
But then I was like, wait, but it's Darth Vader. It was like very tugged my own emotions. I was like, oh man, like I can understand like where Obi-Wan feels like in some sort of bind here.
Yeah.
So I'd be in a bind too.
I mean, I couldn't imagine trying like having to do that a second time. Like
exactly.
It's awful to like have to think about. Like you thought you did it the first time, and you kind of like you're so guilty about it. Then being in that situation and having to do that same thing a second time is just unimaginable.
Also, yeah, and also kind of a detail that you just made me think of, like right at the end, where Obi-Wan clearly beats Vader, and then he says to himself, like, oh, then my friend is truly dead. So he's like, so he's fully accepted that this is Darth Vader, this person is evil. He then just pieces out and doesn't kill this guy. It's like, what? Like, you just admitted that your friend is dead. And it's like, this is not him anymore. And this dude, you know, is going to try and destroy everything that you stand for. And you're just like, all right, peace, bro. I'll see you later.
Yeah. I was thinking about it. I almost would have liked in that scene a little bit, maybe, if like he was like kind of like more, not again, like that'd be cheesy, but it was like, I will do what I must. And like almost like Qui-Gon came to him and was like, hey, this is not like your destiny is not to kill.
That would have been, I think, or like a whisper or something like small, or like see like the hesitation, and then he's like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Like, even though I know this isn't my friend, like, I still can't kill him, versus
Yeah.
him literally just walking away.
But I did enjoy it. I saw some people were still like that. I didn't like the fight. I enjoyed the fight. I thought they had some really cool physical elements to it, where like he was like bashing in his like respirator,
Yeah.
but like he bashed in it with the butt of the lightsaber. It wasn't like he was just chopping with the light. It was like he's using every part of it. Like he blocked and then turned around and did that. Or like they showed a lot more force, which was cool.
Mm-hmm.
In some of the other fights, it's just like they don't really use the force at all in the fight on Mustafar.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lot of cool stuff with like the rocks or just like pushing them back, or I like seeing Vader like grab the lightsaber with the force again. That's just cool.
Yeah. There's also one part where like I know I could see it was a callback to episode 3 where like there's the one part where like Anakin goes behind the back and like blocks, and I saw Obi-Wan do that, but then I think Vader sucker punches him when he does that. I don't remember exactly, because I think he goes around back and then just punches him in the face. Because like he like knows the move, so he's like, "Oh, okay, I'm just gonna give you a right hook real quick," and just like nails him. And he's like, "Oh my god!"
That's actually really funny.
Yeah, that actually made me laugh. I was like, "That is so funny." Like Obi-Wan just wasn't expecting a street fight with him.
I also a little bit of a note is like in episode 3 when they had that fight, Obi-Wan goes, "I will do what you must," and then Anakin goes, "You will try." And this time he goes, "You'll die then." He's pretty much, he's like so much more confident. He's like,
"Yes,
you'll try to kill me." This time he's like, "You're not going to win." I mean, he still gets folded, but...
he still gets folded, yeah. But
it's really wild that this terrible, like, these terrible lines, like, from episode 3 are, like, things that we love now.
Yeah.
Like, they're just not good at all.
Like, let's go! Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter. See, it doesn't matter if they're corny. If they're iconic and they have, like, emotional, like, weight to them, it's how you remember things. It's like
who in a fight says, "From my point of view," like
from my point of view, the Jedi are evil. It's like you could just
respectfully, you are wrong.
It's like if you say "I think," that implies that's from your point of view. So why are you just stretching that out? It's like, from my point of view, it's like you just say "I think the Jedi are evil." Like, what are we saying?
Or just be like, the Jedi are evil. Like,
just say that. It's like, obviously,
like you clearly believe it. Like, you kill him.
That's stuff like that is so funny. Or Obi-Wan walking up to Luke saying hello there, knowing damn well that he said the same thing to a murdering cyborg with 4 arms. He's just like, "Hello there." It's like, why would you do that?
I actually, when he was walking up, I was like, what is he gonna say to him? Like, "Hi, I'm Ben."
Sup,
or like,
Ben.
Yeah, I was like, what is he gonna say? And then he dropped the hello there. I was like, wow.
Wow, you really just did that.
Have you guys seen the thing on Instagram with like 3 hello there's?
Yeah, because it's because the funny part is the Clone Wars animated show actually, they made it a callback in episode 3 when Obi-Wan says it. It's actually really funny because it's like in the Clone Wars, it's Grievous that says it to Obi-Wan, so that when Obi-Wan drops down in episode 3, it's like him saying it back to Grievous.
That's cool.
But then it's like, why are you saying this to this kid then? He had nothing to do with this.
He doesn't even know who you are.
Exactly.
Like, if you have like enough class.
Yeah, now it is. Exactly. He just stole it from General Grievous. He's like, that's mine now.
All right, so what are we giving this out of 10? Wrap up our thoughts on this.
Are we doing decimal points, or are we just doing...
We can do decimal points, yeah.
Okay. You know what? I'll just give it a solid 80. I'll just give it an 80.
We give it an 8.5.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna give it like an 8.5 too.
Yeah.
Right around that range. I thought
Perfect.
Very good. I'll take 1.5 points off for like stupid things, inconveniences, but like overall good show.
Yeah.
I was impressed. I think I would have preferred a movie.
Yeah.
But
But we'll take what we can get.
We can't have nice things.
Exactly.
So